Hello, hello, hello. What's good, everybody? It is Tuesday, so you already know it is time to get down low-key style. And always the one going down this rabbit hole with me is the one, the only, a Phantom D Saint. How goes it with you today, man?
Hey, all Phantom D saying here, and finally, we're getting all these damn Lokis in the episode. But damn, there was no Hulk Loki, damn it. Was there?
In the background, not really, no.
Damn,
There's a
they
couple
missed
twisted
out on
Lokis.
it. I wish we saw that freaking Hulk Loki, damn it.
I know, and man, there's still maybe a Hulk Loki to come, but I was loving Loki. You're a Loki, you're a Loki, he's a Loki, we're all Lokis. It was the Loki episode, and I was loving every minute of it. The way this one opened up, just spinning around, like it kind of made me feel like the TVA is in some kind of dome-like atmosphere, like where there is no true up or down. Like I was just into it right out of the gate, the way they opened it, panning in a circle like that.
So what you're saying is we're dealing with Westworld right now.
Oh, they might all be in a snow globe. We don't know. They all might be in a dome-like atmosphere. Or did they show that few like going around in a circle like a clock moving backwards through time? Is it like Ravonna stated that her and Mobius have seen the end of time? Like, are they truly on a loop just going around and around?
Could be.
That might have been what they're questioning at that. But yeah, I just love that little opening, how they did that little circle. Like, why did they do that? I think there's a reason for it. And it's almost as if somebody is watching, like staring inside the TVA, moving up into the timekeeper's lair, then out into the void where we see it wasn't Loki Alligator who was talking, which was kind of a bummer in the mid-credit scene. Right out of the gate, that was the only thing that kind of bummed me out. I was like, oh man, we don't get the talking Loki Alligator. But the way it just opened up, like going to the time bureau or the time agency, and then kind of the way it panned out, it's almost like somebody was watching all this go down.
Whoever is running the whole show with timekeepers and all, they're really watching it. And the question is, who's watching it? At one point in the episode, I'm like, it's Mrs. Minnetts.
This Minnetts is the evil one doing it all, running the show.
Look at her
She's acting.
eyes. Look at her eyes. It's like the way her eyes be shifted. I'm like, I don't know. You may be up to something now.
Like, you suspect, Minnetts. You suspect. What's up, Christian Knowles? I see you out there. How'd you like the show this week? Oh, man, one episode to go. They got a lot to get in. Like I said, I don't think they're going to be finishing this episode. I don't think they're going to tie up any loose ends. I think they're just going to leave it in absolute chaos. That's my prediction for that.
And then hopefully it's going to be Spider-Man and pick it up because we haven't yet to see a damn Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. And I'm like, why? And I think they're just waiting for Loki to end.
Could be to show the true madness, but I don't know. You ain't watching them trailers anyway, so that don't matter.
No. When it comes to Spider-Man, I gotta see the damn trailer.
Some things I just can't wait on. But we instantly jump right back into the TVA with Sylvie demanding Ravonna's temp pad, and she thinks this is as fitting place as any to kill her off. But if she was really going to do that, wouldn't she have already done it?
Most definitely. But she's after something, though.
Absolutely. If she don't get it, it might just be your time. So Ravonna quickly speaks up, saying Loki's not dead, and she starts saying that she's now on Sylvie's side, wanting to get to the truth. And that was a pretty quick turnaround. Are we buying what Renslayer is selling?
Hell no. Like, every single scene with Ravonna and Sylvie, I'm like, don't listen to her. She's playing you. Don't listen to her. She's playing you. Like, come on now. Were you not born yesterday?
Just too quick of a turnaround. There's just no way. But Ravonna seems to have a convenient amount of knowledge. Like, she seems to know how the minor things work, but when she's asked about the major details, she suddenly doesn't know or has been told they're still working on it. Like, is anything she's saying truthful?
I don't know. Because we both thought that at least she knew who the true timekeepers were. Maybe she was the timekeeper. But it seems like she's just now learning this. But at the same time, when Sylvie beheaded the timekeepers, we never even seen like Ravonna's like reaction towards it. It's like, is she upset? Is she happy? Is she pissed? Is like, was she shocked? Did she know? Did she have an inkling feeling?
She seemed a little too calm about everything going down. Like,
Exactly.
it was too surprising. That's for damn sure.
Look at Agent 15. She should be like Agent 15 right now.
Exactly. Just talking in tongues. And Ravonna says she can help Sylvie if she trusts her. Like, why in the universe would she ever trust her? Yet Sylvie seems to, because she gives her back the temp pad. So I mean, is this a game within a game, or is she actually starting to buy what Ravona's talking about?
A game within a game, hopefully.
So back out to Loki wanting to stop for a sec to ask several thousand questions, but old Loki says, keep moving or die. Our Loki asks, what's the plan? Old Loki says, not to die. But Loki says, that's not a plan, it's a general demand of living. It was kind of a cool little callback to episode 3 when Sylvie told him, that's not a plan, that's just doing a thing. So we definitely...
You got to learn from each other Lokis now, so you can become the supreme Loki.
See, she is. She's a positive influence on her. He's absolutely keeping his eyes open and learning. What's up, Celebrity Bikini Essie out there? He said lack of choices. It's like you got to go with what you know. Oh, man. So they try to give him a quick breakdown of where he is and what's going on. And old Loki says something interesting. He says, we survive. That's all there is. That's all there ever was. Is that Loki's one true calling in life, is just to survive?
It seems like it, because every time when it comes to like all the variants in this world, or every other variant in the end of time, whatever appears, they get swallowed up. When it comes to these Lokis, they just keep surviving and surviving and surviving.
So, because that's one of my main things. It seems like there is nothing but Lokis on this other planet. So is it that Lokis actually do know how to survive and everything else that gets sent there that just gets eaten up and gone? And that's the reason we only see Lokis out there, because they're the only ones smart enough to know how to survive?
It's either that or, at least in terms of the populace, the majority of them are Lokis. Because then when we get to that one scene later on where President Loki, I'm kind of looking at all these Lokis, or I think so. Some of them had like those horns, some didn't. So I'm just like speculating, okay, are all them Lokis or not?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were all Lokis. I mean, I think that's what that whole scene was telling us. Like, you can never trust a Loki, and they're always going to turn on you, and there's always going to be mayhem. And President Loki turned on boastful Loki, but then all his army of Lokis turned on him. So I think that's just showing that they're all Lokis, and there's never going to be a leader because none of them can. They're always going to turn on each other. Like, none of them have grown like our Loki has. So it's always just going to be chaos. We did see that ship of people. Exactly. So the ship of people came in and they got eaten. So, I mean, is that them
instantly? Alive just came in and just devoured them.
So is that them telling us that other people do get sent here, just most people aren't? Because the way I'm looking at it is that, like, Mobius has to be a Loki. Like, the only people left and alive on this planet are Lokis. So doesn't Mobius have to be a Loki if he's the one other person we see on this in the void?
No, I don't think so. Maybe he just, because he's a member of the TVA, he kind of has like knowledge of it. So it's like, can't just keep Mobius down.
And where was Agent C20 then? If she got taken out, wouldn't she be here? And she's an agent. Seems like she'd be smart enough to stay on the run. So where's she at?
But she's not the top analyst though, DJ. She's just a regular hunter.
No, she's the number one hunter. She's the best hunter.
I don't know. I don't see her in the room with Ravonna.
Our Loki is better than the other people's Lokis. Absolutely. Our Loki is definitely Loki Supreme, but I don't know. I think I think Hunter B15 would be, or C20 would be able to make it through too. So why haven't we seen her appearance? It just makes me think
taken down by Sylvie. Nope.
Well, she was a hunter thinking her and Sylvie were on the same side, and she was trying to explain to Sylvie what she saw, or Ravonna, and Ravonna was like, nope. So yeah, maybe her and Sylvie are on the same side going now, but I don't know. That's just, I don't know. Where is she at? Where'd she get sent to? Did she really get sent to the void and just eaten right away? I think she would have been smart enough to get away. Seems like a little loophole. Where's our girl at? But our Loki asks why old Loki wears the horns whilst it seems kid Loki is running things. And he asks what kind of Loki Nexus event was it? Or he asked the kid Loki's what his Nexus event was. And he said, I killed Thor. So did he kill, like, did Kid Loki kill Kid Thor, basically? Is that what happened?
That's what I'm guessing, because they never really clarify, like, was this an adult Loki, teenage, was it an adult Thor, teenage Thor, even like a kid? I'm guessing it's a kid. If not, how strong was this adult Thor?
Right? It's like, man, I mean, was he not worthy? Could he not pick up Mjolnir yet or whatever? Because Yeah, that's crazy. It's
Because
like, and
even because in the like I think it was either Ragnarok. I think it was Ragnarok when he was like talking about the times when they were like kids and they tried to like stab each other before. Like yeah, like Loki turned to a snake and he tried to like stab him. So
mhm.
it's like I guess at one moment maybe he was successful.
Maybe that stab actually did kill him. Yeah, that's what I'm like. Was it an accident playing around?
Yeah,
Was
that's
it
my guess.
was it during Ragnarok and he was supposed to do something and he stepped out of the way and Thor got killed? I mean, he just doesn't seem like the type that would go after and literally kill Thor. So, like, was it an accident? Did he do it on purpose? Is this little bastard a lot more ruthless than we're giving him credit for? Like, inquiring minds want to know. I need to know more about Kid Loki. Why are they all following him? Because that was his kingdom. Like that
Hmm.
lair down there, that was his own little castle. But how dope was that? Speaking of his little kingdom, how dope was that seeing Throg in the glass container? I was like,
I
wait,
know.
Thor's here too, and he's a frog?
Like at one point we see like Mjolnir and I'm like, okay, there's Thor's hammer. And then suddenly you see something like in that jar. I'm like, wait a second. Is that Rick and the Frog? I'm like, oh my gosh. I just love it. Even we saw like Thanos' helicopter. I'm like, they really do like a whole bunch of like Easter eggs within this whole like end of time thing.
Oh yeah, they got the three-headed dude. They got everybody. They were, yeah, they were dropping hella little Easter eggs. But you really had to stop and stare and like get into some foggy like background
Mhm.
stuff. But they did have some cool stuff in there. Our man FDS did, but I have not seen it yet. I turned on Disney Plus and saw $29.99 and was like,
Woo.
hell no. Just turned it right back off. So I don't care if I gotta wait till October to find it. Like I'll figure something out, but I ain't paying $30 to watch it, I'll tell you that. But we see down into the Loki lair, and it's a scene right out of Dr. Seuss with a twisted Babes in Toyland vibe. Like, what were you thinking of Loki's castle down there?
I mean, he's a kid, so when you saw those candy canes and stuff, I'm like, oh, something that I expect.
It makes sense, but yeah, it definitely was like a little kid vibe, what he would think of his little kingdom to look like.
He
And
was
back
even drinking out of a damn juice box. I'm
I
like,
see,
really?
right? Keeping the kid thing rolling. That was awesome. Everybody else drinking boxed wine. He's drinking high C coolers or whatever. That was amazing. But back at the TVA, Ravona's asking Miss Minnetts to look up the beginning of the TVA, and Sylvie asks, "What about the end of time?" And Ravona says, "It's nothing, just a void." And when she says that, her and Miss Minnetts kind of give a look like that was a lie. So were they lying about that too? They actually knew exactly what the void was all about.
Of course they know. It's like every time with these two together, with Mrs. Minutes and Ravona, it's like I really question how much does like Ravona truly know, and Miss Minutes, she knows everything. So the way how she was just like going through these files, taking her time, I'm like, wouldn't you just instantly know like where this file is?
Can't trust it. I know, like today's day and age, you think they'd instantly go to it, but this is like retro stuff working, so it might take a little time. Little dial-up action might take a little longer to find it. But yeah, that was crazy. Like, you can't trust anything those two are doing. But Sylvie deducts what's at the end of the time, and Ravona says that must be where they are. It's like, wait, didn't she just tell us that that's where they go when they were pruned? So didn't we already know this? Why is she acting like she just gave some new information up? Like she's got to just be lying, right?
Yeah, I haven't rewatched that scene, but it seems like she's trying to confirm what she said earlier. If not, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of talking in circles right there. And Ravona says there's no way to get there, so Sylvie threatens to prune her, but Miss Minnetts cuts in saying, "What about the Void spacecraft?" And Ravona immediately picks up what she's laying down and rolls with it. Like, how is Miss Minnetts such a great liar?
Because she's running the whole thing. Mrs. Minutes is truly the timekeeper.
Oh, it was Miss Minnetts all along?
Yep.
Oh, man. Sylvie acts like she's buying this and buying the lie, then shakes hands with Ravona. Is there any way that she got into Ravona's mind to read it when they shook? Or maybe like to even plant a seed for like a future plot point? Like, or was this just because she knew something was up and wanted to stay near to the temp pad so she could grab it just in case?
No, stay near to the temp pad.
I think that's what it is. You don't think when she touched her, she got in her mind and did anything?
Nah.
But it didn't seem like it, but yeah, I mean that'd be cool. We don't know if she can plant stuff for later dates, so probably not. It probably was just so that temp pad didn't get too far from her. But Ravona says, "Come out, and I'll let you. I'll I'll put you into a time loop, and one with good memories. Do you have any good memories?" And I feel Ravona knew that she didn't, which just makes her even more evil for saying it like that.
Hmm.
Like she is just ruthless. But Sylvie said she actually did have one good memory. To what memory is she referring?
That is another good question. I'm guessing before her time when she was taken by the TVA. That's
You
like
don't
the
think
only
it was
thing.
the time? You don't think she's referring to the time that her and Loki were sitting there at the end of the world watching it go down, holding hands?
Nah, don't think so.
You
Because
don't
even
think?
then, like later in the episode, she talked about how awkward it is, be talking with people, befriending people and stuff. So it's like I don't think that would be like the happiest moment. Like it has to be before she was taken, because then again, that would be like more of a drive and her motivation for all these years, getting her payback for the TV for the Time Lords or Timekeeper, excuse me, different franchise.
Celebrity Bikini thinks it is her time with Loki, of course. Like, and I think most people, at
Hmm.
least for the fact, I think they kind of set it up that way, that it was about basically her and Loki having time together and realizing that they're not alone and they could actually have each other to lean on. And when they held hands, like, I think it was referring to that. But I like your answer too, the fact that it was before like the one time, the very few times she remembers when she was a little girl back when she did have happiness. I like that. So she then pulls a move that they didn't see coming and prunes herself. And what if Ravonna was lying and the baton did really kill you? Like that was a pretty bold move, pruning herself like that.
Yeah, at that point it was just like blind faith.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Blind faith. Like, man, Ravonna's been lying about everything else. How are you going to trust this one little thing? Like that is blind faith to a T. That was cold. But out to the Loki layer, and we're seeing all Lokis are the same self-aggrandizing, like being no matter what timeline they come from, they're just all about themselves. And boastful Loki's telling some whoppers, and Loki Gator ain't having it. Like when he jumped up and tried to Captain Hook boastful Loki's hand, I was dying, dude. Like he throws back, he picks him up and throws him back in the kiddie pool. I was loving that scene.
Gosh, even how he said like I don't even think he even like named his next event. Like he was talking about, oh, I was able to like defeat Captain America, Tony Stark. I got the 6 Infinity Stones, but we never heard what was his actually Nexus event. As
Oh,
opposed to the classic Loki, I freaking loved his Nexus event. That was like something that we all speculated when we saw Infinity War. We were like, is Loki like really dead? Or is he just like put an illusion for like Thanos? He even said it himself, like, oh, I put an illusion. Even the mighty Mad Titan thought it was like real. And then he just like went away in space, chilled, be by
genius,
himself. But
genius.
curiosity killed the cat.
I wonder
Or
what kind of
prune.
yeah. I wonder what kind of birth defects a person who has a child with an exact replica with split chromosomes would have. That would be interesting if those two had a kid together. I mean, is that possible? Would reality itself implode?
Unless their kid is alive.
What? Loki make Goliath? That was their pet all along. What? I love that. Oh man. Kid Loki tells old Loki to tell a story. I was like, wait, why wouldn't have they have all heard this already? Like, how long have these Lokis been here? He's like, tell your story. And old Loki's like, oh, nobody wants to hear that. I'm like, if you guys have been here for a while, how have they not all heard this story a few times?
Hmm.
That was
That
kind of,
was just like antisocial. Because again, he was like by himself for who knows how long.
yeah, but now he's so in love with this place, he didn't want to leave it when he had the chance to.
Hmm.
So it's like, how long have they been here and how has he not already told this story? I thought that was a little weird. But Loki really does want to hear this because he's a bit confused. Like we were just talking about, he thought he was supposed to die at the hands of Thanos, but Loki lets him in on a little secret. Blades are the downfall of a Loki. It dulls their magical abilities. And I think that was a big little line he dropped. Like, I think that's going to hit our Loki hard, and he's going to kind of turn a new leaf. It's all about the magic, not the blade so much.
Which is true. Because even
Absolutely.
in the comics, even like look at cartoon movies and TV shows, it's mainly of his magic. It's not really that of the daggers.
Magic seems to be way more in his side. And instead of trying to stab the Mad Titan, like we just talked about, Loki cast a projection spell that was so real that Thanos himself was fooled by it. He tricked Thanos to believe he really killed him while he hid. So I believe our Loki's going to use this same move in the next episode, fake his death, and then get away. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I see that happening. That and then we go into like present day, and it turns out that our Loki was not dead; he was still alive.
Absolutely. I think that's exactly what they're hitting to.
But then it'll go back to the first episode when they show his death, and then the thing cuts off, and I'm like, well, what's the real truth here?
Right, exactly. And he said, we have but one part to play, the god of outcast. All the Lokis drink to that cheer, but all but our Loki. Like, instead of drinking, he puts his glass down. He's like, I'm not buying that. He's going to do whatever he needs to do to get the hell out of here. So, yeah, he's not trying to feel like we're just the god of outcast part. Like, that's not my line. It might be you giving up and not me. And he tries to give a quick rallying speech to get them back up, but this only gets them to laugh in his face. I thought that was pretty quick. I love that. I was like, if they get up, this will be so cheesy if this works. But the fact they just laughed in his face, I was like, all right, back on track.
Because you have to wonder, it's like, why didn't they try to kill him or escape? But they're just chilling here. Like,
well, they have. They said, like, right when the first Loki got there and was bitching, he said everybody comes here, with bad plans and they die. Like, we just survive. So they all come there starting with a bunch of bad plans that aren't going to work, but then they rapidly figure out it won't work. Even our Loki had a horrible plan. Like, they figure out at the last second, maybe we need to rethink this one. But as he tries to leave, he's met by an entire quiver of Lokis waiting at the gate. And this probably isn't good. Massive more Lokis is never going to turn out well, is it?
Never.
And out in a creepy bus, a dazed and confused Sylvie wakes up, and it looks like she made it out into the void, and maybe to her detriment, as her surroundings instantly try to devour her. It's like, ooh, she almost got right out of the gate. And as she's running away, she reaches out and makes contact with the entity chasing her, and she's actually able to see its memories. So it's like, that was kind of almost had to rewind that to even notice what was going on. That was pretty cool, though, when she switched in and did that to it. And while she's running, she sees a car heading for her. And hey, it's Mobius. And he tells her that she should be careful just jumping into a stranger's car like that.
Exactly. Like, literally, when that happened, I'm like, one, you all running away from some type of freaking, space cloud monster thing. But at the same time, it's like, fully know what's in the car is way worse than that.
Could be like an out of the kettle into the fire type situation. Mm-hmm. But she's like, I'm running for my life. Let me just take this chance. And with this line and the fact that everyone here seems to be a Loki, that's what I'm saying. That's just like, how is Mobius not an undercover Loki at this point? Like, doesn't he just have to be? I swear.
Now I'm almost kind of thinking about it, because even when he was talking about that Alligator Loki, he was like, is he really? But then it's a game within a game.
Mm-hmm. He's like, it actually makes sense. That's just more to the point that I would be a Loki. Like, yeah. But I don't know. I swear they're dropping so many hints that Mobius is actually like just a Sylvia Moby, just a Sylvie Loki. Like, he's a Loki that changed his name, basically. But I like the line when Sylvie was doing a great deal of backseat driving and Mobius finally turned and said, God, you really are one of you. Like, I laugh out loud. Like, it's about to go down in the Loki lair, and they call them wolves, and then they reply, we prefer snakes. I was like, why? Is there a hidden meaning I'm missing somewhere about them being preferred to be called snakes and not wolves?
Because remember, but yeah, it was Ragnarok. Like, Thor was talking about, like, at one point, like, Loki turned himself into a snake. Then he's like, I'm Loki, and he like stabbed him. And plus, aren't snakes like sinister and like mischief? So it's like it coincides with it.
Feel it. Oh, DJ Doogie hit the chat. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. I'll give you a call a little bit later. Oh, maybe the goal is just to remove all Lokis because he's the downfall of the timekeeper Terminator plot. That's what I'm saying. I mean, why is this just a land of Lokis? Like, either everybody here is a Loki or everybody else dies and only the Lokis are smart enough to survive. It's like, I don't know if I'm buying that one either.
You could say that until that whole ship came. Like, that was like proof that it's like non-Lokis are there. But at the same time, those other Lokis didn't like look like our Loki. So,
or was that other Loki just another an illusion that big Loki put up or whatever to make things seem that things are not all as what they seem? Like, I just don't know why they wouldn't want to leave that shithole. Like, you got brought here against your will, but now all of a sudden you're calling it home. Like, I don't know, maybe for old Loki because he was alone, he's just happy to be with people. But I don't know why Kid Loki would want to stay there, especially when all those other people just infested basically his castle. So now where's he going to stay and what's he going to do anyway? I just thought,
there's no pad, so it's like, how will they escape?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm like, he should have just went in with old boy. But Kid Loki's a beast, and he says, wolves, snakes, I've eaten both, and they die all the same. Then he hears, apologies, my liege. And of course, a Loki turned on a Loki, showing that none of these Lokis have matured enough to ever leave this place. And good riddance to all of them. But it was pretty funny hearing like the depth of each Loki turning on the other Loki. Like, we had a deal is the bigger picture here, learning that one should never trust a Loki. Is that what they're trying to tell us?
Of course. Each and every one of them betraying each other. And then a moment when they try to turn their life around, TV just comes out of nowhere. And it goes back to what you said about Sylvie. It's like, was she like on the path to become like a hero or something? And then the TVA just snatched her away.
That could be it. That could be exactly what they're talking about. So Alligator Loki goes for another hand hook style, and this time we eaten. He chomps off President Loki's hand, and the rumble ensues. That was pretty dope. And little Alligator Loki just struts away like chomping that dude's hand. I was loving that. I didn't realize until the second watch, though, that old Loki had used a duplication spell to aid in their escape. Like just before walking through that porthole, our Loki looks back and sees versions of everybody still down there fighting. Did you notice that?
I'm telling you, that's like near the end of the episode. I was sad, but then at the same time, I'm like, this classic Loki now could be the true Supreme Loki. Why isn't he the king?
Absolutely. They're on the brink of an original timeline out there. Maybe they're going to be out there and maybe they're going to try to rule that timeline. It could be. But old Loki is disgusted by the actions of the Lokis. It seemed like his time alone has made him see the error of his ways. Like, has he come even farther in his learning curve than our Loki has?
Probably.
Because he seems like he knows exactly what's up and disgusted by the actions of Lokis, and he seems like he has grown quite a bit. It's just weird that he would say that he can never change, like that each one of them is broken forever. Like, is that true? Hasn't our Loki changed, or is it just an act?
No, he's changed.
I feel
and
like
if it's an act, I'm like, damn, really?
that's a long con. But little Loki says it's when any of them try to fix themselves, that's when they're sent here to die. But our Loki wasn't trying to fix himself. Like when he went to the TVA, or when the TVA showed up, he had just stole the Tesseract and got sent to a desert. So he wasn't trying to fix himself. So that wasn't true, right?
No, because he started to fix himself during the time of like Thor Ragnarok. Before then, he was just still the same Loki.
Right. But even then, it wasn't, no time bureau showed up. No time agency showed up. So, yeah, I don't know. I think he's a little off on his thoughts about that. But I like how they had Mobius touch on the fact that he thought the TVA were the good guys. And then Sylvie's adding, like, yeah, annihilating entire realities, orphaning little girls, classic hero stuff. I was loving that. And Sylvie didn't have much faith in our Loki survival skills. She thinks Eliath probably already got him. I was like, man, you got no faith in our Loki. Like, didn't he show he's kind of more powerful than you already?
Nah, against Elias?
Not against
chance.
But Mobius isn't so sure. He knows real Lokis don't die, so he's still got the faith that it's alive. And it's funny how Loki says Lokis always have a plan, yet his plans are usually terrible. Like, even Kid Loki's like, dude, that is an awful plan.
I mean, you have plans. We never say these plans are going to work, so...
Yeah, it was a horrible plan, even a plan. Like, just no, you got to step up the game. And just then a huge ship appears and Loki gets to test his theory. And when Eliath makes short work of it, Loki realizes his plan still needs work. And hey, we got a car showing up. And in comes Sylvie and Mobius for a quick reunion. And Loki introduces them to the Lokis. And Mobius mentions, man, you could throw a rock out here and hit a Loki. And I'm just like, all these little lines he's dropping, like, I almost feel like this is the writers messing with us because we're about to find out that Mobius truly is a Loki.
Oh my gosh, DJ. If next week's episode reveals that he's a Loki this whole time, you call it. Right? I'm still saying no.
Oh, it'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. It would be amazing.
But now I am questioning the whole alligator thing. It's like, is he really a Loki or not?
He's like, is this just a long con? But again, that just makes it more likely that he's a Loki. It was funny when Loki tried bagging on Sylvie's plan, and she was as insane as like, what? Because they're trying to bag on her plan, and she was like, insane as what? A paper cutting a cloud to death? Like, she's got bags right back for him. She's not taking any lip from any of them. She's like, you think my plan's shit? You're about to try to paper cut a cloud to death with your shit. I thought that was awesome. And only thing I didn't like about this scene was like how many times Loki put his hands on his hips. Like he was just constantly like, guys. I don't know. That just seemed to keep putting me on. I'm like, is this really our Loki? Like the god of mischief? Like he's just like, you guys. Like he did it twice in the scene. And the second time he did it, it just took me out. I was like, come on, man.
It's in his Disney contract. He has to do it like every few episodes, DJ.
Right. I was just like, man, that ain't my Loki. What the hell? But Ravonna goes to talk with Hunter B-15, who's being held in some red energy cell, and she asks, like, why am I being held here? The timekeepers aren't real. And Ravonna says, you think that changes anything? Like, does Ravonna already know the whole truth of what's going on?
At one point I did, but it seems like she doesn't. Even Hunter 15 was like, you don't even know yourself what's going on here. Even when she put her in prison and she was like, well, why am I here? I was like, oh, I need to know, like, what's her motivation and whatnot. I'm like, really? Like, you should know her motivation. She wants the timekeepers dead. Like, did you not see her behead one of them in that room? Like, I don't know what's up. I knew for a fact she was not a top analyst. How she got her position, who knows? Like, oh my gosh. It's like at this rate, unless she is the timekeepers and she just like erased her mind or something, I don't know.
Yeah, that's just weird. That is just weird. They got to let us know. And I'm sure we're going to find out this next episode for sure. But B-15 thinks she's figured out Ravonna's true motives, and it's not to protect the TVA, but to find out who started it all. And B-15 says you'll never find him before Sylvie because she only wants it and Sylvie needs it. Is she right about that, or just kind of taking a stab in the dark?
I mean, it's true though. Like, if you more of the people who need it will most likely have it, over I can't even talk. Or the people who want it is more like desire, and it's like, you're more of a selfish goal. It's like even when she finds it out, it's like, well, then what? You're gonna try to take over it, rewrite it in your own image or something. As opposed to Sylvie, it's like, well, at least we know why she after timekeepers, because one, we still even know what's her next event. That's the whole thing. It's like, what did she do? To the point, it's like, yeah, they took her away, and then it's like, okay, that's her next event. Why doesn't that fit in their plan or its plan?
Or maybe it does, and that's why she hasn't been erased yet. Hasn't been. How does Miss Minnetts work? Like she seemed to jump like right out of Ravonna's tempad, but then twirled away down the hall with like seemingly no electronics to guide her. So how does she even really work?
Because she is the timekeeper, DJ. Like I've been saying it like so many times in the stream. Even my own reaction, I was just like, it's possible like she is the timekeepers. Because the moment when they even like said, she said like, oh, the timekeepers are like in danger, whatnot. Her eyes just like shifted over in fear. I'm just like, what? Like I don't know, man. I don't know. It's like something's up with Mrs. Minnetts. At one point, though, she was just, the mascot or, just like the face of their machines and thing. But now it's like, it's probably more deeper than that. I could be overthinking it, but I don't know. They even have a Funko Pop of her. I'm like, I don't know now. I don't know.
So you think there's still a chance that she might actually be one of the timekeepers?
Yep, I think so.
That would be amazing. I don't know. I don't think she's one of the timekeepers, but she absolutely knows a lot more than she's letting on.
Because even then, like the timekeepers would probably even like summon her. If anything, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So she probably does know who they truly are.
But do you think she's more of like an icon, a mascot, or is she like a watchdog for them? Like, I mean, she definitely knows more than she's telling us. So, like, what is her role?
She sees all, hears all. At this point, she could pretty much be like the watchdog for the timekeepers. Daughter, Ultron's daughter. Could be.
So she's basically just the Alliath for the TVA. Basically, the actual timekeepers for the TVA.
Could be. Could be.
What's up, Peter Griffin? I see you out there. Ultron's daughter. That is awesome. Oh, man. So, yeah, I don't know. We got to figure out what exactly is Miss Minnetts' true calling in this place. Like, how much does she do? Is she the Alliath of this place? Is she actually a little higher than that? Is she the one running it all? Like, I don't think she's the one running it all the way she's all yes, ma'am, and everything with Ravonna, but she's definitely more than what we're thinking. Old Loki. Where we at? Old Loki and Mobius are rehashing old memories, but Mobius doesn't really remember an alligator Loki. Like, how do you even know it is a Loki? He's green, isn't he? I thought that was awesome.
I'm like, really? That's like the first go-to thing. It's like if you see green, it's like, okay, it's possibly our Loki. But aren't alligators like green though by nature? That's one thing I forgot to look up now. Hold up. And then I don't even know if this truly is a damn Loki. Wow, I just searched up alligator and the first thing that comes up is Alligator Loki. Amazing.
Awesome. Oh, you know what everybody's searching? Absolutely.
Yeah, they're green by nature. Like, I don't know now. I don't know. It's
You
like
were still
Mrs.
Loki.
Minutes and now Alligator Loki. I'm in high suspect alert.
I'm telling you, we need the truth. We got to get to the bottom of a few things. But Mobius says it's always a game within a game with you guys, like, which I respect. Like, that's a very similar wording to something Loki said in the previous episode. Like, why are they dropping so many hints that Mobius is a Loki if he's not one?
Repeat that?
Mobius says it's always a game within a game with you guys, which I respect. Like, that's exactly how Loki did it. Like, he's like, oh, you're mad I lied at you? He's like, no, I can respect that. Like, he just kind of uses the same wording as our Loki did. It's like, it just seems like the writers are dropping hint after hint that this guy's a Loki.
I'm going to stay on the sense, DJ. I'm not going over.
I'm telling you. Old Loki says, so just like that, you're turning against the one thing that you devoted your life to? And Mobius says, yeah, it's never too late to change. And old Loki really seemed to think hard about that. So it's like, oh, maybe it isn't too, maybe it is never too late to change. Maybe you're never too old to change. So it's like that got his inner workings going. So you know that's going to come back and take effect a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
And how lacking were our man's moves, though? Like, illusions a blanket around himself and then says he could conjure one up for her if she likes. Like, she babbled on about how uncomfortable her outfit was, but never exactly said no to sharing a snuggle blanket.
He, just like what Peter Griffin said in the chat, he was putting on the damn moves. I was like, dude, just share your damn blanket. And what he does right after that. But now it also seems like if we're gonna get like more of Sylvie in the MCU, we're probably gonna get like a different suit for her that's probably gonna resemble the Enchantress in the comics.
Maybe something. Loki is the son of an ice giant. He doesn't get cold. Loki putting the moves on Sylvie. Yeah, 100%. They're both ice giants. Neither one of them are cold. That's like she didn't say anything about cold. She was just like, oh, this thing is uncomfortable, though. Like, oh, are you saying you want to get out of those clothes? Like, what's really going on here? That's how I took it. I was like, hey, they're ready to get it. And it was sad when Sylvie said, I don't know how to do this. I don't have friends. I don't have anyone. It was like, oh, man. So that really sent my mind thinking, like,
Mr. Postman doesn't exist. Told you.
It was all a lie. That's true. She said she had a postman. All of a sudden, she didn't have anyone. Suspect, Sylvie. Suspect. So I'm like, is there any way that Sylvia is the one ruling it all? Like, she found out who was running the show a long time ago and then killed him, and now she's running it. But she got bored and lonely the same way that old Loki did. So she created this storyline to entice our Loki here to spend eternity with her. Like, maybe she's the one that guided him to the desert, and she's the one that's been guiding him all along. Because she guessed about the end of time as where to find Loki. Like, that was just a little too quick that she came up with that. And she was also a little too sure about zapping herself. Like, she wouldn't die. She knew she'd come here. Like, she could have easily taken out those agents, but she wanted Loki. And that's why she was so adamant about saying that she's not a Loki. She didn't want the situation to, like, creep him out. Like, the castle they're heading into is where she's been living for a long time. And now they can be together and cause all the chaos their little hearts desire. And she did say, like, there may even be a timeline for you. So is there any way that castle is Sylvie's castle and she's the one doing all this because she got bored and she wanted this Loki?
We've been doing like 4 streams now. I've heard a lot of things from you, DJ. But this one here, oh my God, this one here, oh my gosh, I want to say no, right? And then next thing you know, in episode 6, this is what it is, and I'll pretty much go right back to the time in Westeros when you once said that we're all like doing flashbacks, and we all were like, no, DJ, but this time. This ain't gonna happen. This can't happen. Like, she was that extremely bored to create all of this, the game within a game. Also, she can get her like lover Loki, the one Loki, where she can spend the rest of her life with the ruling. I don't know.
She's out there. She's ruling it. She just got, man, it's lonely at the top. She's bored, just like old Loki got. He wanted to see her brother. This Loki, she's like, I don't have anything, but this Loki seems to be the best out of all Lokis. So let me just bring him here and spend the rest of eternity with him. That would be amazing. I would love that. I'm definitely with that one way or the other. Celebrity bikini. I believe it's a Loki. At the
Yeah.
end.
This is how this episode was. I'm just like, it's possible. Like one of the candidates is Loki.
Oh, dude, you're a Loki. You're a Loki. He's a Loki. She's a Loki. It's got to be a Loki. I mean, it's all Loki. Like they're all Loki. So it's got to be a Loki behind it all. I believe so. Oh, Peter Griffin thinks so too. I think it's actually our Loki sitting on the throne. Our Loki just doesn't know it yet. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in a minute. It would be crazy if it's Mobius Loki sitting on the throne. That would be kind of dope. Haven't heard that one yet. Is Westworld over? No way. They're coming back. They got to prove my theory right. But yeah, we got to get BBM in there and talk about season 3 because I got some.
Oh yeah, I still haven't watched season 3 of that yet.
Got some predictions on that one. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm saying it's like I think that could be Sylvie behind it all. We do not know. We just don't know. Did you think they were keying up for a kiss between the two of them when they were out there between that blanket?
No, but when they defeated Elias, I thought they were gonna kiss then. But if they are, it seems like they're gonna save it for the finale at this point.
I'm with you. For some reason, even with all that snuggle talk and getting close in the blanket, I never once thought they were gonna kiss.
You gotta save it at the right moment, and that wasn't the right moment.
That wasn't it. That's weird. Like it seemed like they were queuing it up, but I never once thought they were gonna kiss for some reason. So yeah, that's kind of weird. The two decide that when this is all over, maybe they'll try figuring out their future together. And doesn't this just ensure that one of them's definitely going to die in the next episode?
Die, betray the other. Like just that whole conversation with Loki and Sylvie, like, oh, are you gonna betray me? He's like, I betrayed my father, brother, my people. I'm a changed man, I'm not gonna betray you. And then I'm just like,
And then the one person he doesn't talk about betraying is his mother. Like he's talking to a woman, so he doesn't want to add on that, like, yeah, I've betrayed the most important woman in my life before. Like kind of left that out of it.
I don't think he even mentioned like he was the cause of his mother's death, I think.
Not to her, I don't think he did.
Yeah, so it's like, huh.
And actually, this one isn't, but he was going to be, which is just a weird deal. But Sylvie takes a big chance handing the Loki the temp pad. Like he passes the test and says he's staying with her, and she looked very relieved about that. But is it because she's starting to believe that she's finally not alone, or did she just take a huge gamble and needed that outcome for her master plan to work? Because she looked really relieved when he said he was going to stay with her.
It was a gamble. Plus, even if he like end up betraying her, like at this moment or so, it's like he still isn't like diverse and enchanting. So he just had to say what he had to say, so he can be with her in this plan of enchanting Elias, and like pretty much like going into whatever it is.
So why were old Loki and kid Loki so happy to stay in the void? Like the place seems like a total hellhole. Why are they so apt to stay there?
One kid Loki, that's his kingdom. That's one thing, and he seems like he's in content. But classic Loki, I don't know. Like it seems like at one point he was okay with staying, and then he turned around. So it's like I can see him just like continuing it on.
I think
escaping.
Old Loki's just happy to have somebody to talk to. I think being alone for so long, like he's just happy to have people to hang out with. But I mean, he can hang out other places. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Maybe he's just too scared.
Unless he's the timekeeper.
He's the one behind it all. He is pretty powerful. He seems like the most powerful one. It could be. Oh, rip Sylvie. King Loki will take her out in order for our Loki to snap and sit the throne. It might happen. If that's the way it is out there, it could definitely go down like that. But Loki gives the temp pad to Mobius and asks what he will do, and Mobius replies he's going to burn it to the ground. Basically, the exact words Loki used upon first arriving at the TVA. So I'm telling you, he keeps using the same wording as a Loki because he's a Loki. Like, he's a Sylvie Loki. Sylvie changed her name, he changed his name, but in the end, they're all Lokis.
That'll be crazy this whole time. Every single agent in there is a Loki
They're
this
all
whole
Loki.
entire time, but they just change their name and get their mind erased. That would be crazy. But he does admit that Sylvie is his favorite one.
Does he? Because yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like he
Because he's
hugged.
looking dead right at her. Our Loki thinks it's him, but it's not.
Exactly. He's hugging our Loki and whispers it in his ear, but he's staring right at Sylvie. So who's he really saying that to?
I love a slurry bikini.
A jet ski loving Loki. That's exactly what he is.
Talking about jet skis, literally because of the rainstorm that was happening up in New York, someone literally took out their jet ski and start riding it. And instantly, I thought, "Wow, Mobius, that would be pretty much him right now."
That's where Mobius got pruned to. He's out here in New York riding jet skis down the street. Mobius, you made it. I was wondering where you went. That's awesome. Yeah, I thought that hug was a little over the top. Like when Mobius said you're my favorite and said it to him, like I like the twist there, but I just thought like that was another one of those hands on the hips, like get over here, you. It's like brothers don't shake, brothers got a hug.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, put that down in the chat. What's that movie from? Oh man. Mobius dips and our Loki's heads off to enchant Goliath, and a branch doesn't occur in time, so Loki decides he's going to cause the distraction, and he takes off running and lights up his magic sword, but it's not enough. Goliath is just after Sylvie. And it's not until old Loki shows up and casts an illusion so huge and vivid that the Mad Titan himself would be impressed that Goliath actually goes after old Loki instead of Sylvie. And Sylvie asks, like, how's he doing that? And Loki realizes that they must be a lot more powerful than they can even realize. So that's going to become a thing, isn't it?
Yep. And the moment that happened, I'm like, yo, Funko, I need a classic Loki Funko Pop. And they made one, damn it. And it's an exclusive. So now when it goes live, I just have to like monitor the sites and be like, hopefully I can get it. Because I'm not paying like double prices for that.
You going to get the leveled up Loki?
You gotta get classic Loki now. I saw a kid Loki. Bosa Loki, they're gonna make an exclusive later on. I don't know about Alligator Loki because I'm still on the fence of whether or not that is a damn Loki.
Oh, dude, Alligator Loki is definitely a Loki, and he might be the best Loki. He
I
might be
don't
the
know.
Loki Supreme. I don't know. He's chomping arms off, just strutting away like he don't give a. Yeah, that is definitely Loki Gator. But old Loki yells, go! And Sylvie grabs Loki's hands and he's like, what are you doing? He's like, we're going to enchant it. And he's like, I don't know how. He's like, yes, you do, because we're the same. It's like, talk about trial by fire. Like, that's a harsh time to learn on the fly.
True. So at this point, even though like one, it seems like every Loki can do the same thing, but like one Loki just specializes in one particular talent, if anything.
Or it's like like Loki said, they're a lot more powerful than they had any idea, and each Loki just taps into like a certain stream of that power. But it's like old Loki who's tapped into all of it and be like, dude, this is what we can do. Put your little blades away and let's get down on some real magic.
That's...
Oh, Loki and the Scarlet Witch make a baby. That'd be amazing. Absolutely, that would be a magical creature. Where did he get the hat if he isn't a Loki?
He ate the original freaking Loki and he took the damn hat.
Or the Loki was the cat of the wrong neighbor's cat that he ate, and so he just ate it and then ended up keeping the cap and put it on after he ate the cat. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, dude. We need some alligator. We need some alligator Loki origin stories. What's up? We need to know what's happening. But our old Loki runs out of magic and is seemingly consumed by Goliath. And was he really consumed, or was that just an illusion to him that he had cast?
That's an illusion. We're gonna see more of him. Like, I don't think he's dead for a long shot.
Real Loki.
They said our Loki survived. That's what we do.
Real Lokis don't die. So either way, it worked, and the two were able to pull off the enchantment. And Sylvie says, "Open your eyes," and the fog clears, and it reveals a castle beyond. So who do we think is staying in that castle?
So it's either Mrs. Minnetts on that throne, it's another Loki on that throne. According to you, DJ, it's Sylvie on that damn throne, actually. Like, oh my gosh, who else can be? Did I say Mobius Loki could be on that throne? Is it Agent, was it 20? The delusional one? that was supposedly dead? Could
Yeah.
she be on the throne? Or is it the actual timekeepers and this made sure they put the robots there in case of a situation like Sylvie happened? Like there is so much possibilities of like who are the timekeepers right now.
This celebrity beginning. She's like, that's what happened. Like this episode showed real Lokis don't die, they multiply. Absolutely. Do you think there's any way that they bring? I don't think there's any way they bring in somebody new. Of course, a lot of people have been just spewing Kang this whole time. It's going to be Kang in that castle. Some people think I actually thought for a minute way back that it might be Doctor Doom, and this might be like a little nod to him. Like they might not even show Doctor Doom. They might just like make a nod, like they're both looking up at somebody, and there's like, "This is your doom," like just almost a nod to it, but not really showing it, not show them. But I'm sticking with it. This whole time I've been saying that I think it's a Loki behind it all. This show's about Lokis. We just got an episode with nothing but Lokis. I think it almost has to be a Loki behind it.
Yeah, seems most likely. It could be K, but at the same time, it's like there really hasn't been like an actual mention of his name at all, or even like an allude to it besides the other timekeepers looking similar to him.
Oh, I
Like,
mean, they had that instead of Stark Enterprises, when they're flashing through New York, it says Kang Enterprises, and like the Kang.
nah, any more than that.
Right, but I'm saying like that's like the odd, but like the average. I don't read comic books, so I really don't know that much about Kang. So it's like the average viewer isn't even going to know who Kang is or what it is. You can't just drop that in at the last episode. So I'm
if
not.
anything, like in a after credit scene, like how they did at Thanos and Avengers, but
Yeah, it
for
could
it to
be something.
be like this, the timekeepers, like, nah.
Celebrity Bikini says it's Tony Stark running it
If
all.
it's Tony Stark, better be a different actor playing Tony Stark. I can tell you that. Because if I see Robert Downey Jr. playing Tony Stark in any Marvel movie or TV show post Endgame, I'm gonna be ranting. I'm like, no, no, no,
Hey,
no.
what do you think they're bringing all these multiple universes in for?
I don't care, DJ. I don't care. If I see it, I'm gonna be pissed off.
Hey,
I'm like,
just how
no,
you saw President Loki looks just like our Loki, we're gonna have another Robert Stark that looks just like Tony Stark. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I'm okay if they do some type of Tony Stark Jarvis thing. I was like, I was okay with that. I eased on that. But anything a physical representation of Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, I ain't gonna do. I'm not gonna like it. Not a bit.
They have bringing back old plots. It could very well be Kang. Yeah, like I said, I don't know about Kang, and I don't think the average viewer knows that much about Kang. So I just think it'd be a little weird to drop it into the last second. But the fact that he's supposedly coming to the next Ant-Man and the Wasp, I mean, I could see a nod in his direction. Let's just say that. Oh, what's up, AK? Just hit the chat. Good to see you. Good to see you. Checking in from Black Widow credit roll. Feel it? Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet. I gotta wait. Like I said, I'm not dropping that $30, and yeah, gonna have to wait on that one. But old Loki already told our Loki how he lived and got away from Thanos, which we were talking about earlier. Time works differently here, as in the TVA. This is supposedly at the end of time, so going forward and going back are essentially the same thing if this is on a loop. So now when our Loki encounters Thanos, he basically knows how to escape it. So he also knows in doing so that the TVA would also always be after him if he did get away. So he would need to live in a place that wouldn't arouse suspicion. Ergo, the person living in the castle and the creator of this
Oh my gosh,
is none
yo.
other than our Loki in a future timeline. Ta-da! Doesn't that
Yo.
just have to be it?
It could be now. It very well could be. But no, because then that wouldn't make sense. Because if the wait, first, where's the castle actually? Is the castle at the end of the world? If so, it's like, what would be the point of like coming to him and pruning him just to be ending up at the exact same place?
What do you mean coming? Who came and pruned him?
If the TVA would, if the classic Loki is in that castle, and that castle is pretty much at the end of the world, and once they prune you, you pretty much not end of the world, end of time. They prune you, you end up there. So it's like they just
But it's
prune
a
him
time
out of the
loop. It has
castle.
to happen. It always has to happen. So it's in a time loop. Like it started at the end. Now it's got to
This
go
is why I don't like
forward.
time travel shows and movies at times, man.
Forward and backwards is the same thing. So now that he knows this trick, when he goes back through it, he's going to know how to do it. He's going to get away. He's going to need a place to live. He's going to find this place. He's going to enchant this castle, put an Goliath up as his watchdog so nobody else can get through. And that's where he's going to live out his time. And maybe it's a flipped situation. Maybe he's the one living in the castle that's bored and by himself. So he went and did all this to entice Sylvie to come there. So him and Sylvie could live out together. So it's not really Sylvie doing it. It's actually him there who brought Sylvie into this so they could spend the rest of the time together.
Fixed time. Oh my gosh. This is, I say it all the time. I hope this wraps up well by episode 6.
It's not gonna. It's not gonna. It's gonna be all chaos and mayhem. They're gonna leave this more open with more questions than what it started with. Is my guess.
I'm hoping not. Or if so, at least answer some questions. Like I'm gonna rewatch all these 5 episodes again, write down a bunch of questions, and hope at least answer at least half of them at least. If not, if they don't answer like 1/5 of it, I'll be pissed off. I'm like, why? Why were we watching this? Just
Yeah,
to have endless amount of questions, and it's like it's gonna be a whole bunch of mess. I'm like, oh no.
Oh man. Last chance and had to guess. Who do you put your money on is in that castle?
Last guess. It's probably another Loki. It's probably another Loki.
Oh, so he's on my side. There you go. One way or another, it's got to be another Loki in there doing it.
No, you're going with Mobius. Was it Mobius that was your thing this whole time? It was like a Mobius that was like fired up about. Or was it
I'm saying Mobius is a Loki.
Oh yeah,
Mobius is a Loki, and I think that our Loki is basically on a same timeline that he's gone through this, figured it all out, and it's our Loki living.
No, it was Sylvie. That was the one I was like, okay, you're losing.
Sylvie did it all along. Yep.
Yeah.
Sylvie was like old Loki living here. Like she was jumping timeline to timeline. She got sick of living at the end of worlds. She's like, where can I go and live and not constantly be on the run? So she figured out about going to the end of time because that way there is no timeline to mess up. Whatever timeline happens could be the new timeline. So she goes there. They still can't detect her because it's at the end of time. And now she's not having to run. She's not having to like lose her place like every 3 days because the world comes to an end and she can live in peace. But it got boring. So she needs somebody to spend time with. So now she basically came out and found it. And they're going to, for some reason, our Loki is going to have, in that scenario, our Loki is going to be the postman one way or another. He's going to be the one bringing the mail somehow, some way, that's going to be the postman she was talking about was our Loki. But, because, I don't like the fact that they dropped it. Like, you said that. Like, she's saying she doesn't have anybody. She's all alone. But yet she had already told our Loki that there was a postman in the timeline. So which one is it? You lying then or you lying now? Inquiring minds need to know.
Can never trust the Loki.
Can never trust a Loki, and that's it. How hyped are you for this final episode?
I'm hype. I need these answers, DJ. I need these answers. Who are the timekeepers? That's all I want to know. Just show me the timekeepers, and I'll be okay. I don't care what other madness happens as a result of this show. I just need to know who are the timekeepers, and don't pull a fast one on me. Like, oh, this is the timekeepers. In reality, it's not the timekeepers. That's all I want to know. Who are the timekeepers? And maybe who's truly that Alligator Loki? Maybe.
You heard it here first, Marvel. That's the answers we need answered on this final episode. You can leave it in chaos, but we need to know who are the timekeepers, and I need an origin story for Alligator Loki. Is he really a Loki? Oh, that's going to do it for us. I want to thank everybody that made their way out today and everybody that watches later. I hope everybody's having an absolutely fantastic weekend, and it only gets better from here. And until we see you next time, you guys be easy.